good evening to everyone that is joining us, my friends, my followers on Facebook, those on Instagram, and of course, thank you to you for bringing this very amazing and interesting topic to our doorstep. Learning, when we talk about uncovering the untold truth about education, I believe we cannot exhaust the list. It's something that we have to keep saying and keep learning because the world evolves, change happens. So we have to keep talking about it. We have to keep revisiting the topic. You know, when the times change, generation change, what have been working in the last few years probably will not work for us, so we still have to go and revisit them. So while I welcome everybody on board, I want to just also share the live video and stay back with us, ask some questions. You will also be allowed to say one or two things after the talk because yeah, we're learning from each other now. And like Chara said, my name is Ijeoma Pelagie Okorie. I'm a lecturer and I'm writing up my thesis. I'm doing my PhD in Newcastle University, United Kingdom, and I major in public health and epidemiology. So good evening once again. And yes, I'm here to speak on this topic. First of all, I would like to say, what is the curriculum of study when we talk about education? For the sake of this live video, please permit me to use Nigeria as a case study because I believe We Care for You Africa is talking about Africa in general. Yeah. But yes, I would like to say, okay, let me use Nigeria as the case study. So the curriculum of education in Nigeria has been revisited more than once, more than twice. And the current educational curriculum in Nigeria for the secondary schools is developed by the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council. So now when we're talking about this curriculum, people would ask us, what is the meaning of curriculum? So the curriculum is something that assists the society to produce citizens that will assist the growth, development, sustainability of that society in the light of local and global competitiveness. So we are not only training our people to be able to work after school, we are also training them to be able to compete with the international and global community. So if we are training people to interact within themselves and outside of the country, how are we incorporating the globalness? Or how will I put it? How incorporating the culture of other countries, other people, to see that we meet the standard that we are searching for or that we are hoping to give back to the society. So I would use a paper that was published by Dr. Nsika Abasi. I think he's in Akwa Ibom. So he published a paper in 2021 and he titled it The New Educational Curriculum in Nigeria. So in that paper, a lot was said about education, a lot was said about the Ministry of Education. Okay, so one quote that I want to highlight from that paper is this: the curriculum planners on their own observed that those leaving schools were ill prepared to face the challenges of the world of work, as they lack basic lifelong skills, functional literacy, and numeracy. This was written by the Federal Ministry of Education in 2008. So it has been acknowledged, and before a paper can be published, I think usually you would do a research. So this is actually a research that was done, and it was acknowledged and it was published that a lot of people getting out of school couldn't face the challenge in the world of work. You know, a lot of competition out there that they could not meet. So they designed a present curriculum to be able to develop and facilitate value orientation, to eradicate poverty, to instill critical thinking in children, you know, to teach them about entrepreneurship, to make them bold, to be able to face any economic problems that they're going to face internationally and at home. So I would like to mention the key subjects that we have in the secondary schools right now and how the curriculum has been formed. So we have subject areas that have been drafted out for the secondary schools. We have English language, we have mathematics, we have science, physics, chemistry, and biology. We have social studies that covers history, geography, and civil education. We have language, we have arts, music, visual arts, we have drama, business studies, commerce, economics, accounting, technical subject, home economics, physical education, religious studies, and recently they've added the ICT, that's the computer and other technical courses. So while all these courses have been designed to help students to learn, to grow, to be able to speak, to do one or two things, we can all see it that it's there, that the education in the classroom is not enough to actually instill all the child needs to be able to be the best of themselves in the society. Oftentimes we hear people say, I've graduated, I don't have a job. I've graduated too. A lot of people are talking about graduating and not having a job. So now I would like to say something about not being able to secure a job. So at some point, the country Nigeria was facing a complex set of problems, and they were interconnected and difficult to solve. This was because there was a serious case of unemployment. Even when the nation was in dire need of a critical mass of manpower to kickstart an industrial revolution in the land that is blessed with abundant natural and human resources, the critical mass of school leavers were only job seekers and not job creators. The result was that the private sector was weak and could not keep the pace with the demand of international competitors. This was compounded by the fact that the international community could not have faith to invest in the country. So even when we have so many graduates coming out every day, we have lack of manpower because there was no practical teaching. We only did theoretical teaching. Just bear with me if I'm going to use myself as an example every time. Please use yourself. But that is because I feel I was opportune. I was fortunate enough to have that background of practical learning. So let me say this: when I was in my year 2 in the university, or even before I entered the university, when I go on holiday, I used to go to my aunt's place. She had a boutique, so I stayed to sell for her. You know, when we go to market, we shop together. I started seeing how you can price things, how you can go to market, speak to people, how you can come back. You know, you can be able to talk to a buyer and make them buy something. You can even suggest something to them. Now, I was gathering these skills and I didn't know I would need them after school. So what I was learning then was the practical aspect of business. That is what is being taught as business studies, bookkeeping, accounting, financing. So if someone comes out from uni and they says, okay, I have a 2-1 in accounting, I have a 2-1 in business, and then you're being asked, what is your experience like? You wouldn't know what to say. But if I was yet to get into the uni, and with my experience, I'm being asked, if someone gets into the shop and they don't want this thing, what would you do? It's easy for me to answer, oh, I will persuade them to take this or that, because I feel this one will also go for what this person wants. You know, so that is a practical learning. And over time, I understood that it's being called upselling. But at the time I was learning and using them, I never knew it was called upselling. So we have a lot of situations where people just know the knowledge and practically they cannot do it in the real life. So the work sector is suffering because we all are looking for someone to employ us when we can create jobs, we can create businesses, we can make money. So while I was on holiday doing my year 2 period, I went to National Hospital Abuja. So I didn't want to stay home doing nothing, you know. I just said I'm going to go because then I was studying microbiology, and I said I'll just go to the lab. I'll beg whoever is there that I want to learn, I want to come around. So that very day I went with my lab coach, you know. So I was determined to go to see how things work, because yes, we were learning in school, but no one was going to come to run a malaria test in a school. So I needed to know practically what this thing is all about. I see them, I read them, we can do our blood on the slide and check, but there was this work side of it that I needed to understand better, you know. So I was lucky enough to meet a doctor that said, oh, what are you doing? I said, this is why I came. Oh, I'll take you to the lab. He took me, he spoke to them. My name got into the rota. You know, they do a rota for people doing IT. So I was coming there to clean up, mount the slide. I learned how to do the agar plates. I learned how to do streaking on the plates. So whenever any of the technologies were free, they would just call me. What do you want to know? So I'll ask them questions, you know. So I started learning very well. So it helped me, because when I went for IT, I was like the one teaching every IT student in the hospital.
You were already ahead.
Yes. So they asked me, where did you learn all these things? You know, they say, how come you can do malaria tests? You can do this slide. You can do smell stool analysis. I said, because I did holiday job in my year 2. Now I'm doing my IT. So I only had to improve on the areas I didn't know. So people that were leaving school at that point in time that had no prior knowledge, if not for the IT that they were sent to do, they wouldn't have gotten the knowledge. So one of the things I would still preach about in this session is that we maintain the culture of internship. Internship, IT for students to go and learn, volunteering for you to go and learn, because these are things that practically you won't be taught in the classrooms. Okay, so while I've mentioned how the curriculum have been designed to fit into what the students need, I would like to talk about taking the education out of the classrooms. I don't know if that's in line with what we're talking about.
That's what we are talking about.
Okay. So I would like to first of all talk about practice. I feel we need to work more about practicing what we are learning. I'll give example of social studies. A lot of people do social studies in school. They learn about society, they learn about cultures or other things. But most times, people are not allowed, the children are not allowed to move around, to witness this culture. The only time I saw this thing come to play is during the NYSC that we have in Nigeria. You know, when I used to hear about 36 states and capital, I used to feel some of them never existed. But when I went to serve in Benue State, I said, oh, Benue. Yeah, Benue is there. So this is actually Benue State. And when I was going to Benue, I passed a lot of other states. You know, so it was a good experience to learn from, because nobody would have brought Benue State to the classroom. Nobody would have taken, like, I had to interact with them. I was able to learn a few of their language, how they eat. There were things that I thought never existed in some cultures. I saw them, you know. So we need to start teaching our children to understand the diverse cultures that we have. That is the only way we can successfully groom them to accept a culture that is not ours. Because if somebody is from a particular place and they feel this is the only thing that works for me, how would they accept another culture? When they go to the Western world, how do they fit in? Now, this affects us in the world of work, because even with this Japa happening now, people migrating, we see what is going on. Some people come to the workplace, they don't understand critical thinking. They don't understand emotional intelligence. They don't understand office politics. They don't understand boundaries. So these things are not what would be in the classroom or you'll be taught in the classroom. So we must find a way and encourage these students to teach them how to be all these things. Because so far as I'm concerned, when someone is above 18, you can hardly train them or nurture them again. So catch them early. The earlier, the better.
Catch them young.
Yeah, catch them young. So this is one side of it. We should be able to create avenues where people are going to come. Like if we can say, okay, every once in a month, come out and tell us where you're from. What do you do? How do people eat? How do you greet? Now, this thing takes the children back to the family, because it's not the family that begin to tell you, this is where you come from. This is how you greet. This is how you dress. This is what we do. And then when you're doing that, you're also encouraging the kids that you must respect other people's culture. So with them interacting together, they'll begin to have a clue that, okay, even though I do this thing this way, some other person can do it this way. That will immediately teach them boundaries, acceptance.
I agree.
Yes, when they begin to accept, it will teach them adjustment. Because all these things are skills you need to survive with people wherever you go to. Another one I'll talk about is apprenticeship. Most times children are on holiday. The parents are also heaping book, holiday lesson. When I was younger, my mom never allowed us to go for holiday lesson, except when I wanted to write my WAEC. She says these children have been in school. Let them rest. So she said, if we wanted to learn anything, that is the time to go and learn. You want to learn music, you want to learn how to braid, you want to play football, you want to sing in choir, you need to go to catechism. So that was when I started teaching catechism. But a lot of people these days feel that if my child is not holding the book to their faces, they are never going to learn. But they are just going to learn the theories. What about the practical aspect of it? So you see people coming out and, oh, this person is a first class, this person is smart, this person is smart, but then something is lacking.
It's missing.
They themselves cannot even hold on to what they really need. Yes. So you see people saying it, but when you're very exposed and you understand these things, you immediately know that there was no practical experience on this person's part. And so they have grown that way and feel it's just okay for me to have a degree. What's up in the case where there is no job for you as a graduate? What do you now do? How do you now succeed? Now, this is the major issue that a lot of us are facing with our children and everything. So I'll move into the IT part of it, computer science, IT, internet, and everything. While we have all these things listed out in the curriculum, are we teaching the children these things, or they just read it on the screen? So when I started lecturing in 2016, I was a graduate assistant. I was not lecturing then. 2017, I was an assistant lecturer. Okay. So when I got into the classroom, I told everybody, I don't want you to call me at all times. I don't want you to bug me. This is my phone number. This is my email. Whatever you want to tell me, send it to my email. If I give you an assignment, send it to my email. I had 400 level students who do not have an email address. Some of them who had email addresses don't know how to use them. But this is something they've read in the books. Some of them had their phones. So I told them, I said, you have a phone. So if you don't have an email, what are you doing with a smartphone? You have to create one here. So when other people created the email, some of them did not want to do it. They said, this is not abroad. This lady has come with her abroad style. This is, so they started resisting the change. It was as if I was being forceful. Why can't you just collect the script paper the same way everybody's collecting it? But I knew that I needed to teach them practical
Exactly.
So a few persons started sending email. The first week of that email thing, it was crazy because some people typed their email where you have the subject. That is where they type their email. So the email is empty and the subject has the actual email. So people could not attach their documents, their assignments through the email. But over time, they had to learn because I can't carry papers around. send it to my email. Whatever you want, send it to my email. I'll respond to you. So gradually they started learning. Now, this carries on above just finishing school. As I coach people now and assist them with getting admissions abroad, I've seen this play out often and often. You know, one of the cases that it really put me off was this lady. I told her, I said, send me your documents to my email. She went to the computer center. Because she didn't know how to do it, she gave it to someone that was working in the computer center. The person sent me the documents. So because I usually make sure I involve them in their application. That is also because I want you to practically know what you're doing. So I always say to them, if you pay me for this thing, I'm going to involve you. Because over time, it is your life.
True.
It is you that have to take this journey. So you have to understand every step of it. But because we resist that change, that because we have not started learning it when we were growing up, we resist the change. They will just keep the money and feel that, why are you stressing me? I've paid you, just do it. And time over time, you meet people that they've denied them visa like 3 times. They have no denial letter. Why? My agent used their email. You know, so this lady sent these documents and I uploaded them. I put the email as her email in the admission requirement. So the code number that you need to verify the university platform on went to the email where she gave them to send.
Oh, that's so sad.
Exactly. So while I was thinking she would have gotten the code number and verified and then get back to me, for 2 days she didn't get back to me. I said, I'm waiting for the verification email. She said, oh, this is not my email I used. I said, why? I don't know how to upload this. So I gave it to someone that is over 30 years old. In this time and age, we are training you to be able to compete with the global world. So these are things you must learn. You have no choice. So I had to write to the university. I started explaining why I need to change that email. It took another 3 days. Oh, we are waiting for the IT to do this. So after everything, I said, now, whenever you get a message from this email, you have to let me know what they have said. It took another week upon week, and I said, you have not responded to me. Oh, man, I don't have email in my phone. So she had not even downloaded the app. So how do you come out to compete in the international world? Because no matter what we do, we must always integrate with people at the other side of us and then exchange for what we can do for each other. So I started understanding that these people need to, we used to have some computer labs a long time ago when I did my secondary school. We used to go like once a week. I think we need to make sure that these things are done often. If possible, let the children learn in the computer lab. So I'll move into the IT part of it, computer science, IT, internet, and everything. While we have all these things listed out in the curriculum, are we teaching the children these things, or they just read it on the screen?
On the screen.
So when I started lecturing in 2016, I was a graduate assistant. I was not lecturing then. 2017, I was an assistant lecturer. So when I got into the classroom, I told everybody, I don't want you to call me at odd times. I don't want you to bug me. This is my phone number. This is my email. Whatever you want to tell me, send it to my email. If I give you an assignment, send it to my email. I had 400 level students who do not have an email address. Some of them who had email addresses don't know how to use them. But this is something they've read in the books. Some of them had their phones. So I told them, I said, you have a phone. So if you don't have an email, what are you doing with a smartphone? You have to create one here. So when other people created the email, some of them did not want to do it. They said, this is not abroad. This lady has come with her abroad style. This is, so they started resisting the change. It was as if I was being forceful. Why can't you just collect the script paper the same way everybody's collecting it? but I knew that I needed to teach them practical things.
Exactly.
A few persons started sending email. The first week of that email thing, it was crazy because some people typed their email where you have the subject. That is where they type their email. So the email is empty and the subject has the actual email. So people could not attach their documents, their assignment through the email. But over time, they had to learn because I told them I can't carry papers around. Send it to my email. Whatever you want, send it to my email. I'll respond to you. So gradually, they started learning. Now, this carries on above just finishing school. As I coach people now and assist them with getting admissions abroad, I've seen this play out often and often. You know, one of the cases that it really put me off was this lady. I told her, I said, send me your documents to my email. She went to the computer center. Because she didn't know how to do it, she gave it to someone that was working in the computer center. The person sent me the documents. So because I usually make sure I involve them in their application. That is also because I want you to practically know what you're doing. So I always say to them, if you pay me for this thing, I'm going to involve you. Because over time, it is your life.
True.
It is you that have to take this journey. So you have to understand every step of it. But because we resist that change, that because we have not started learning it when we were growing up, we resist the change. They will just keep the money and feel that, why are you stressing me? I've paid you, just do it. And time over time, you meet people that they've denied them visa like 3 times. They have no denial letter. Why? My agent used their email. You know, so this lady sent these documents and I uploaded them. I put the email as her email in the admission requirement. So the code number that you need to verify the university platform on went to the email where she gave them to send.
Oh, that's so sad.
Exactly. So while I was thinking she would have gotten the code number and verified and then get back to me, for 2 days she didn't get back to me. I said, I'm waiting for the verification email. She said, oh, it is not my email I used. I said, why? I don't know how to upload this. So I gave it to someone that is over 30 years old. In this time and age, we are training you to be able to compete with the global world. So these are things you must learn. You have no choice. So I had to write to the university. I started explaining why I need to change that email. It took another 3 days. Oh, we are waiting for the IT to do this. So after everything, I said, now, whenever you get a message from this email, you have to let me know what they have said. It took another week upon week, and I said, you have not responded to me. Oh, ma, I don't have email in my phone. So she had not even downloaded the app. So how do you come out to compete in the international world? Because no matter what we do, we must always integrate with people at the other side of us and then exchange for what we can do for each other. So I started understanding that these people need to, we used to have some computer labs a long time ago when I did my secondary school. We used to go like once a week. I think we need to make sure that these things are done often. If possible, let the children learn in the computer lab. Everyone should open an email. Even when they are not doing anything with it. On a normal day, you can tell them, everybody go to the computer lab, send me an email, tell me how your weekend went. Now, they will start learning the act of typing on the computer. I told someone that I typed my degree thesis, I typed my master's thesis. They're like, I said, yes. My PhD thesis is 80,000 words. I've typed 42,000. I'm going to type the rest. I'm going to do my tables. I'm going to do my graphs. But this sounds very weird to some of them back then. When I tell them, where's your project? I gave somebody to type. How do you give somebody to type? How many words? How do you give somebody to type? How do you now learn? So I feel when it comes to these things, the government can also see a way they can subsidize laptops. You cannot learn without the laptop. You cannot learn these things without owning a laptop at least. So if they can subsidize laptops to university, to secondary schools, or even the smallest ones, so that they can start learning how to type or maybe tell their parents, get a computer, get a laptop at home, give them 1 hour screen time to type something, tell them to send you an email, even from parent to parent, you know. So at the end of the day, everything goes back to the home. So the home has a lot to do when it comes to taking the teaching outside the classroom. You know, so this one is for it. Then while we're teaching them how to use the computer, how to come online, we have to teach them how to avoid cyberbullying. A lot of people are cyberbullying now. These are things we need to teach them. If there are sites you don't need to go to, you don't have to go to so sites. They can be corrupt. They can shut down your system. We need to really be open to them about how they can successfully use the social media space. We teach them more about educational sites where they can go and learn. I always post it on my wall. These are sites where you can learn for free. Spend your time there and learn. These are places you can learn for free. These are things you can do online. So over time, you begin to understand how the social media space works. A lot of time, I'll post scholarship, I'll post jobs. People will come back to me and say, I am interested. So what do you want me to do? You need a job and you are telling me you are interested. Me that I have not finished with my own life. So I usually tell them, I said, you people don't understand how it works. For me, no one can chase my passion better than I can do it.
That's right.
If I need a job today, no one can help me push it better than I will push it.
That's right.
When you want to get something, you have to sit up. You have to learn. So for people that are inclined, they will just go check, oh, what are they saying about this job? What are they saying about this scholarship? My brother was in Nigeria after his master's when he applied for his PhD scholarship and he got it fully funded. And you hear people saying, oh, these things, are they working? These things, are they true? But why don't you want to look at it? So the reason, another reason why we have too many people carrying false news online is because people did not cultivate the habit of reading. So I think we also can do things like book clubs. Let's open book clubs for children. They should come over, you read chapter 1, you read chapter 2, you summarize it. This is going to help them to study. I don't watch the TV. Most times I'm very lazy when it comes to responding to messages because I am always on my computer. I can stay on the computer 24 hours. It's something you will learn. If you don't learn it, you won't be able to do it. If you're, for instance, you're doing a PhD, you know what you want to write, but you need to find a paper that supports your agreement. It can take you 2 weeks. So it means you have to keep reading whatever paper you open, you check, whatever this one you open. So if you don't cultivate the habit, how do you now see yourself in that field? So we need to open book clubs, encourage children to read, encourage them to speak, encourage them to interact with each other. We need to teach them how to be self-confident. Self-confidence is not a course in the school or anywhere. You start teaching them in their little clubs where they come to, you know, you teach them when you want this, teach them how to speak up, how to be bold. If you have a problem, please say it. And while you're teaching them to be bold, you have to let them understand that you can fail. It's okay to fail.
True.
I told them on my Facebook, I said, it took me 3 to 4 years to get my PhD funding. I had other plans before then. I had one that I thought would work out. It did not work out. When I finished my master's and went back to Nigeria, started lecturing, I opened a boutique that I used to have. I started doing my makeup. I started selling my cosmetics. A lot of people were against it. Oh, she left UK and came back. Oh, she left this one. But at that point in time, I knew I needed to come back to where I know I will have peace, settle in and plan ahead before the next step. But a lot of people will not do that because they feel people will think I have failed. So over time, they are just chasing shadows. You're going to where you don't even know. There's no road there, but you can't go back because people are going to say. There's no self-confidence. You don't believe in yourself. This will also take me back to the family. It is the family that have to work on their children. You know, when I finished the master's and I was complaining, my father said, carry your bag and come back. There is a house to live. There is food to eat. Come back and then start working on where next you want to be. Some other parents say, what are you coming back to do? Your mates, when they finish school, they are either sending money back oh, they are married, oh, they are doing this, so much pressure comes from the family as well. So self-confidence, we have to start teaching children from the home and also in the school to be able to speak up. We also need to teach them how to be independent, not to follow the crowd. I know a lot of people would have missed the opportunity because they want to follow the crowd. When I finished school and did my master's, I knew I wanted to teach. But when the teaching was not forthcoming, I went into business while I was waiting. So while I was doing the business in Abuja then, someone said, oh, I have a link. You can get a job in the bank and manage it before you get something else. So I told the person, no, I cannot work in the bank. My temperament cannot stay in a place for just there. So I believe I won't do well. So I kept working on myself, looking for openings. So when I saved up some money, I had to go and start doing masters in Michael Obara. That was how I was doing that masters when I got my lecturing job. So while people thought, this one is just selling, this one is just doing this, I had a plan and I was focused on my plan. So when I got that job, I was already in Lagos. Everyone was saying, why are you going to that village? It's a village. What are you going there to do? Stay in Lagos. Stay in Lagos. Everybody's in Lagos. And I looked at myself and I said, you are not everybody. I moved back. So when I moved back and got my first scholarship to go for my master's, everyone is like, you just left Lagos like 2 years ago. What happened? That is the power of being yourself, staying on your lane, not putting yourself in the midst of others. So we need to teach our children how to be confident, be bold, be focused. Be yourself, do not follow the crowd. What works for A might not work for B. This also affects us in the workspace. When we come to the workspace, we do not want to do what we know how to do because we want to do what we see other people doing. Don't know the reason they take that path. And people oftentimes will not just open up to you about what they are doing and how things are going until you fall a trap. And then you know that, oh, this person is not even on the same lane with me. So we need to teach them self-awareness and we need to teach them about finances. A lot of
financial literacy.
Yeah, financial literacy. A lot of young people see the older people looking good, glamorous, spending money, and they just want to be like them. One thing that made me stay the way I've been, maybe stay true real to myself, is because of my mother. It goes back to the family. What my mother told me one time, she never used to allow me put makeup anyway. I started putting makeup when I was 23 after I finished school, started doing makeup professionally. If she sees powder, then she throws it away. Say, how old are you? Start painting your face. Just wait till you're a little more older. You will rub powder until you're tired. He said it's not because you see everybody doing it. Then one time when I finished school, I wanted to be sad. She called me and said, it took me 30 years to be where I am today. I'm married at 17. I had you at 19. I had your brother when I was 17. I started working on myself, helping. It took me 30 years to have you people keep striving. She was a hairdresser. She had the skill. She was a hairdresser for 18 years. She was a hairdresser when she got her degree, got her master's and her PhD. Yes.
Bless her.
So, people will pass and say, why are you in salon? What is she doing with school? Today, she's a PhD holder, she's an author, she's a lecturer, she's everything she wants to be. Then people will say, what are you doing with school? So that is another thing. Don't follow the crowd, just do you. And she told me, it took me 30 years or more to be where I am today. So where are you running to? So when I had money then, I was not rushing to buy wigs, I was not rushing to buy shoes. Even when you talk about some things, I don't know why I need them. Up until now, when somebody tells me, you don't have a car, I say, well, I don't have use for it.
That's right.
I'm getting it.
Patience. That's right.
When I need, so you learn financial literacy, you save up for things that you need. So when I was doing that makeup, then I was saving to pay my school fees while I was doing my master's. No one was paying it for me. I was paying, I'll pay my transport to come from Lagos to attend lecture. I'll go back and sell. Some people saw me and said, this girl is stingy to herself. No, I wasn't. I was just planning myself because I know where I am focused and I know where I want to get
Where
to.
you want to go.
Yeah.
Where you're going.
So I didn't let what everybody was doing, the pressure to make me to start buying. Oh, you need iPhone. Oh, you buy. Oh, you need this one. You buy. So we need to teach our children that we can save, for the future. You can become who you want to be by yourself. When I finished my degree, my father said, I'm done with you. Go and marry or go and get a job. I've done well. After I married your mom when she was not in school. So me, I don't try. The next person should continue, I had to tell myself, what do you actually want? And then I started saying, okay, let me do this and that. So we also need to teach children how to communicate. We need to teach them how to be social. The communication helps you to be social. You build connection. You learn how to be friends with people, because at the end of the uni days, the school days, these people you meet are the people who are going to support you. When you leave school, it's not all about money. You need connection. You need someone to place a call. You need someone to talk to somebody about you. If you go online, you will find out that 80% of jobs now are done on referral. So while you are in the uni, while you're trying to catch a degree, who do you know? Who do you interact with? Someone put up a status today and said, I've never seen anyone working in CBN. Someone now responded and said, because you're poor. So I looked at the post and I laughed, because I actually know 2 people that works in CBN and they were my classmates, So these are people that if I need anything tomorrow, I can say, oh, you are here, please do this for me.
Yeah.
So most parents lock their children so much that they don't know anybody. When they leave school, they don't know what to do. You need to give them time. When you tell them how to live and show by example, your children will never go out and do otherwise. I've had to have that debate with somebody that says, oh, you can still be good. I said, no. Children learn from what you do, not what you tell them. That was what guided me. I know that there are things I cannot go out and do, because whose house are you coming back to? Where did you learn such character? But some people will do it because they see you do it. I'll give a short story. I went for, in Item and in Abreba, there's something they do every Christmas. They call it Bottomma, like retirement ceremony for parents, aged parents. So we went there and this baby was sitting on the mom's body. So she had eaten rice. The woman, the people serving were passing and she wanted food. The woman said, no, you will not eat. Do you know what the baby did?
No, what did
the
she
baby
do?
turned to the mother and said, but you ate fufu and ate rice. I really rice in here, Gary. So while you're trying to caution her to say, you should not behave like that, you've eaten, let others eat. But you ate fufu and rice in front of her. So we need to know that our children are looking at us, kids are looking at us, so we need to know, understand all these things and be able to adjust in what we do. So we need to also teach them self-care. Our body is very important. Some places you won't be able to get anything done if you don't look good, if you don't smell good, if you don't speak well. All these things are not taught so much in the classrooms, but they are skills, they are power we need to go into places. I went to an office in Abuja sometime in 2021 and I went to log in a request for something. When next I came, it was not worked on. So I flared up, so many officers came out. And then one man in particular said, I think I've seen you before. I said, I don't think so. You wore animal skin gown, so and so time. You packed your hair like this. Now, he was able to remember that this person, I have seen them before because of how I dressed.
You dress the way you be addressed.
Exactly. So he was able to remember that I have seen this face before. And because of that, he told him, he said, this girl came like maybe 1 month ago. You can't tell me you've not worked on this thing. And that was how he took it up, that he's going to sort it out. So some people don't learn these things. When they are going out with them, they say, no, I was occasionally being, boycotted when things were happening sometimes in my circle, even where I used to work, they won't tell me something is going on because they feel when they tell me, I'll come and address everybody. But how is that my problem? I want to look good, because I know that when you look good, you attract people. People want to speak to you. People want to remember, oh, I know this person from here. You know, even when you look good, you want to snap with someone. You know, I've met someone before. I went for an event in Oxford and we took a picture. So one time I needed help and I called a friend and said, oh, you met this man in this event in Oxford. Have you forgotten? I said, oh, it's true. So you had a picture, send it and say, oh, sir, this is me. You know, if I was not dressing well, I would be shying away from pictures. I don't want anybody to see me. So we need to teach them self-love, self-care. We need to teach them to put themselves first. Always put yourself first. In whatever you want to do with people, consider what will happen in your course of being in this thing with this person, or your course of doing this business. Always think about you, your mental health, and prioritize, you know, going to the doctor, you need to see the dentist, because in everything you do, if you're not well, you cannot really function. Okay. So lastly, I would like to say I would like to talk about restructuring the curriculum, what they mentioned that they need to do and what they need for students to actually learn. So what they added was auto electrical work, auto mechanical work, auto parts merchandising, air conditioning, welding and fabrication, electrical installation, plumbing and piping, keyboarding, data processing, storekeeping, furniture making, tourism, mining, agriculture. So I noticed that for every of the curriculum that was adjusted, agriculture was constantly on the list. And that is what we are not utilizing, even with the large number that we have. I mean, a school can own a farm. A school can own a farm. The only problem I see with this thing is that we don't know how to implement it so that it doesn't look like punishment to the children.
True.
If you come to the Western world, the children will be singing, dancing, planting. There's water, there's glucose, there's small biscuits for them. You know, they do it happily. But with us, sometimes we want to make it like punishment. We want to send only people that were late to school, only those that made noise in class. No, it should be something that everybody would do. On this day, we are all going to the farm. Okay, parents, get a boot for your children, get a rubber boot, get this one. You monitor them. When they start planting tomato, pepper, give them corn seed, give them yam seed. You know, they see how these things come out of the farm. They can just, after some time, oh, let me get a small farm at home. Let me get a small pond at home. I mean, farmers are making money. So we can start teaching them to be independent. When I left school, I did not start crying in anybody's decks. If I go and some people say, I'm not taking me, I'm going. I was seeing money. So I could take care of myself. You know, I know it was a risk going from Lagos to Enugu to do a makeup for somebody, going from Lagos to Aba to go and sell bedsheets. I saw bedsheets in stock and go and sell to offices. I was doing them. It was saving me. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you have a good result. Why are you doing this? But you need that education because you need to read, you need to write. Nobody was doing my proposal then when I was going to apply for Hampers. I do my proposal myself. I could write. I could respond to email from the companies. That is why I needed the education. And then we cannot say we'll stop reading because we are not getting the kind of white-collar jobs that we need. The most rich people are actually not even doing the white-collar jobs. You know, we have to diversify, you know, understand that outside the classroom, there is a world that is waiting for us. For me, I tell people that I feel education is like a basic need for everybody, not a need to get a job. It's a basic need because there are a lot of things you need to understand as a human being. That is why you are there. But then you need to transfer the knowledge you've gotten to a skill to excel. Have you watched businesses owned by graduates? My brother is an engineer. He's doing so well for himself now. He's opened his own warehouse. He couples his boxes on his own. He doesn't import from China anymore. That is because he went to school. He understood the part, interaction with these people. What can I buy? If you don't go to school, these things might slow you down. And then you think you're not progressing because somebody is against you. No, it is because the act of doing that thing you have not really understood. But then you have the manpower. And then if we stop going to school, who is going to keep teaching other people? I mean, teaching is where we make and create other careers. So who's going to teach other people? Who's going to teach my children,
True.
your
True.
children? You know, we also need people to go to school to learn, to also teach. So when it comes to teaching, we need to create spaces where children can debate on topics. Let them talk, see them talk, you know, public speaking. They should be able to speak. They should be courageous. Even if they make mistakes,
It's
let them make the mistakes.
okay.
Yes, it's okay for them to make the mistakes. So we see this playing out. Border controls, they're always sending people back because you're scared to speak. Where are you coming from? You're scared. Why are you scared to say where you're coming from? Where are you going to? You are afraid. Why are you afraid? So if we have trained them to be outspoken, you know, challenge this topic, speak this way, wherever they go to, you know, when I finished my master's and went home, I applied for tourist visa and I was given. So in the next 4 months, I was coming back to the UK for summer. So when I got to the border control, the man said, "You've just left UK like 6 months ago. Why are you coming back?" I said, "Because when I came before, I came for school." He said, I said, "Yes." So why are you coming? I said, "No, I'm coming for holiday." I said, "Yes." You know, so he just laughed. I said, "Where's your return ticket?" I showed him. He just stamped it and he said, "Enjoy your holiday." You know, but somebody else could have just started saying, what will I say? When you start acting like you have something else, you know, yes, to hide. So that is why also understanding the culture thing is very important. As we're teaching them ours, we teach them about other cultures. Understand that you have to be outspoken. You don't have to be fidgeting, but our culture intimidates the young children. You don't want them to speak. Even when they see something, you don't want them to say it. So we should try as much as we can to let these children speak. Let them have a voice. It is only when they speak out, we know how to correct them and where to put effort into. You know, so like I said, the teaching outside the classroom we can't exhaust it in one day. But yes, I hope we've been able to pick one thing or another that we can go with. So
oh my God.
You don't want me
Have
to
you
stop.
finished? I want you to continue.
I was looking at the time.
I
said I'll
don't
go for
want you
1
to
hour.
continue because you've said everything. Like you said everything. Thank you so much. It was very, very insightful. Thank you so much, Dr. Pella.
Thank you.
So my very first question is, what if a child does not have the opportunity to the right resources for education due to their socio-economical status and their environmental status?
Okay.
Do you understand? Should I go again?
I understand. I understand what you mean. You're trying to say children that are born by parents that are just probably not capable of providing their needs. Now, this is where organizations like We Care for You Africa comes in.
Okay.
Yeah. So you step into the gap and tell them we can help you. Okay. So another reason why we're talking about being bold, being able to say what you want, being able to say when you need help. Because in as much as these organizations are coming up, a lot of people are hiding. I've had situations where I will tell people, go and chat this organization, they can help you. They don't want to say they're afraid, or they feel, oh, people are going to stigmatize me. We have to also sensitize them not to stigmatize. You know, they have to understand that everyone is not born the same. Everybody cannot get the same opportunity. Imagine if there was no scholarship. I would have ended my studies with my degree. You know, okay, probably my master's in Nigeria. But because of scholarship, I was able to do my master's in the UK again. I'm doing my PhD in Nigeria as well. So we have a lot of people from this background. So they need to speak up because a lot of organizations are actually there, but we don't know that they are there. If you come to my Facebook page, I tell them that we have so many scholarships for people of color. We have scholarship for women of color. We have scholarship for people in STEM. It's just that no information is being circulated. So people don't know. So I tell them that for every situation you find yourself, there's an organization waiting to help you. But are you seeking the right help? So these parents are supposed to understand that they need to speak out. Because I believe if you go to an organization that you know that they help people and tell them, I want my child to go to school, but they can't. What should I do? They'll be able to, tell you something that can help you. Also, we need to also teach parents that you can also train your kids at home, and they will be as good as those that have been to the school. Train them to get a skill. Now, when I was doing my makeup, the person I learned from was a degree holder from the United Kingdom. She ran the beauty studio. So even if I was not a graduate at that time, I could have learned how to speak good English from her. I could have learned how to be organized from her. So all these things sometimes depends on where you actually send these kids. But you can't send them when they are underage. Of course, you can wait for them to grow while they're at home. You as a parent, what effort are you making to know the resources or what other children are learning? So because you're not able to get those resources, number one, you have to build their self-confidence. You have to let them understand that they can be great and they are great. And everybody must not obtain education at the same time. Let them start from where they are and where they found themselves. Like I said, my mom was a hairdresser for years. She did not go to school when other people were going. But she understood that she could always get education. So they should train their children and encourage them to start learning a skill. You know, when they go to learn this skill, they can learn from anybody around them. They will have people that are graduates. They will have people that are coming from other very bright backgrounds to interact with. And when they get this skill, over time, they can still go to school. While they are learning skills, they can have the opportunity to be sponsored for education. When they are learning the skills, the parents would have been better and can afford education. So they shouldn't tie themselves down that you must get education now or every hair will let loose. So a lot of children are in the street because they believe that if they are not in school, they are not important, or they have no future, or they cannot be great. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Perfectly. You've answered my question. Thank you so much for that. And I hope we are all learning. Please, you can drop your questions on the chat box. We are supposed to end the live video now, but please permit me to take still 20 minutes of your time, if you don't mind. And someone said, please, you need to come back. We should bring you back, and we should be having this more often. So I'll just ask you my second question.
Okay.
So my second question is for the parents.
Okay.
Like you said, and you mentioned that everything starts from the family, right? But what if the parents don't know better and do not believe in education? We have cases where we have uneducated parents that have a mindset of early child marriages. We have cases of where parents believe that their child or their male child don't really have to go to school. They just have to, do you understand what I'm trying to say? So what if the parents' mindset is not solid? And what if the parents don't know better? How would that child thrive to have the best quality of life that they deserve?
Okay, when it comes to parents not knowing better, that is where social support comes in. And that is what Nigeria is lacking. Because what if now, let me just throw this question. What if the parents knew better and probably one of them had what we call dementia or had an accident, memory loss, or how would the child now go on? So this is where social care comes in, social support. And this is where the government come in. So there is a need. In fact, it's not just a need. It is a very serious need that the government needs to step up in the area of child care and child support. Yes.
Okay.
Child care and child support. Just like abroad, you cannot, if your child doesn't come to school today, they have to ask. When the child is of age, they have to ask. You have to register the child somewhere. So I think the child care and free education needs to be, in fact, we cannot overemphasize it. I think free education is something that the government needs to work on. The government really needs to. There was a time I was trying to push a proposal, but then Nigeria, my country, I will. No one help assist you. So I was really pushing it to House of Rep. Let us talk about this free education. Our children need to go to school. True. You think it's okay for you to be where you are today? You are going to have your great grandchildren. They need to go to school. These are the people that we interact with. Your children, the people your children will interact will not fall from the sky. It is these children of the people you have refused to educate that are going to be your security men. that are going to be your cook. They're going to handle the most important aspect of your life. They're going to handle the things you eat. So you need to make provision for them to be educated. So it's something that goes down to the government, you know, and also to the new generation parents. Let us try to reduce the illiteracy among children. If we can try, then I think with time it will be great. Because if you have 2 kids, or you have 1, or you have 3, and you know that you can actually take care of these 3 or these 2, I mean, if everybody is thinking the same way, we can help ourselves, because we've cried and waited for the government for too long. At the end of the day, nobody's actually coming to save us.
To save us, yes. That's right.
So it's something we need to look into. You know, the government needs to push it. The young generation needs to push it more. The parents of these kids that are giving them early marriage, like, we need to reorientate our young people. That is why all these things I've said, there are things that are not mentioned in school, but that is what we need in the larger society.
That's right.
So we have to keep calling them together. Excursion, when they come, we talk about these things. We're having an excursion. Okay, come, you come. These are things we need to tell them.
That's right.
When they come for a debate, book clubs, we are telling them, once they see how important this is, they start passing it on. Even you as a parent, if your child is not in school or not doing well like others, you will feel that you have failed, because you see how other people are striving and making sure their own children are getting the best of it all. So here I'm going to say the government needs to do more. The young parents and the young generation, we need to start prioritizing the future of our children. It is not enough to just say, I want to burn them now. That is always their slang. Let me burn all of them now. You're burning all of them to join the ones that are in the streets that are doing nothing for themselves. So we need to prioritize the future of children. That's what
Thank you so much. And trust me, you did justice to the question. And I totally agree with you. I will not say my last question, but I will say my second to last question. Okay. That's if we don't have any questions, I will try to go through the comments to see if we don't have any question. Okay, I don't think, do we have any question? I don't know if you have any question from your end on Facebook.
Let me just check what is happening here.
Okay.
Hello, who is giving me stars? Thank you. Perfectly said. I don't think we have any questions. Thank you so much. You've done well, ma. Okay. Please, if you have any questions, you can drop them here. So no questions from Facebook for now.
Can I go with my second to last question, if you don't mind?
Please. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my second to last question. Let's talk about the teachers for a minute.
Okay.
Because we can't talk about quality education without talking about the teachers. So, whereby a school doesn't have the right amount of teachers, talking about, right amount of teachers, and doesn't have I don't want to use the word new generation, but talk about teachers that actually know or have this mindset that we all have in the 21st century, like you have. So what happens to that child? And what role do you think a teacher should play when it comes to the whole educational sector? Do you understand my question?
Yeah, I understand, because I've been a victim of this question, in the sense that the older teachers feel that I'm too young to come and do the job they are doing.
Exactly.
So it's for me, it was a very big struggle. I got my job when I was 23. I was going to be 20. Yeah, when I was 23. So the moment I started, everybody was, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? And most of the time, they know what they have known in a long time. Like I said, education will change, things will evolve, I'll give, for instance, when I did my master's in biomedical science, I used to read about Western blotting on the textbooks. I used to read about immunoprecipitation, DNA analysis, extraction, quantification. But when I came to do my master's here, there was actual practical. I could do practical, I can separate proteins, I can use antibodies. All these things, we don't have the equipment in Nigeria. So I am in the best position to teach this course because I have done it firsthand, and it is a practical aspect that I remember it vividly from one step to another. If I show you a video on YouTube, I can explain to you better. But somebody that was in uni maybe 40, 50 years ago that never saw these steps might not be able to relate properly when it comes to it. But are they going to let the ones that can relate take the podium? That's the problem. I had a series where I was teaching people the importance of going into lecturing, because we only be complaining while the young ones are running away. So how do you now balance the equation? You know. So I said in that seminar that we need to start encouraging the young people to get in. We know it's not easy, but we have to get in, because we, especially with the vice chancellors, the academic professors, they need to understand that in as much as they know, there's an aspect of these things that we know better. Till today, I keep saying thank you to the professor that gave me my job, Professor Hilary Edoga. He was the VC in the university then. I know so many people would have seen my CV and said, what is this one coming to do here? But he had that, he's older, but he understood that.
He
but we're
believed.
meeting the young people. And that is why I talk about exposure as well. He's someone that have been to different countries, you know, present papers, see how young people, when I did my master's and left, one of my colleagues started her PhD. She got her PhD at 28. And she started teaching.
That was quite young.
Yes. She got her PhD at 28. And I'm going to get my PhD at 34. And you said I'm young. How does that make me young? So
You're
it
young.
is also
very young.
So, someone got a PhD at 28. Yeah? And then you're thinking somebody getting a master's at 23, 24 is something that it should not be heard of, or they should not come there, you know. So sometimes when I even correct some students, they will tell me, oh, professor, this person said has corrected it. You know, once somebody has to tell me, oh, if a professor corrects something, you don't have to go and correct it. I don't think this man really likes the fact that you cancel this. I said, but this is something I read like recently, and I knew that paragraph was not what it is. You know, certain experiments have changed because they've changed the methods. You know, over time, chemicals and everything keep changing because like their potency, you know, we keep seeing that, okay, this microorganism is evolving. We need to find a better way. So what the person knew then, it's not, if you apply it now, it's not
relevant.
Yes, and I saw it in Nigeria where people have mixed genotype. I'm AA. Oh, I went, they say I'm AS. I'm AS. They say, so this is reagents and reactions. So most of these things have been updated. True. So I think this have to go to the NUC Commission. They have to start talking about.
Still the government.
Yes, the NUC Commission, the academic board, they are the people that have to start looking at the fact that this generation, they are not like us. We need people that are reason like them to take the stage. We can now guide them. Let them see the younger lecturers as their children they are grooming into academics. It's not war. If I'm a lecturer and I'm driving Jeep, you're angry that I'm driving Jeep. You only drove Jeep when you became a professor. It is not encouraging people. Because this new generation, they want to be comfortable. Some people also do things that are not just the teaching. Now, everyone is going into tech. Some people can be doing tech and be teaching. When I was teaching, I had a boutique, I had other things. So they'd be like, is it the same salary we are earning? But it's because I am in the new generation. I understand the importance of multiple streams of income. And then I was putting it into play.
That's right. You
know, but that was something I never brought to the school. Sometimes they say, you don't bring what you sell. I said, I'm coming to university to teach, not to sell. If you want to buy anything, come to the shop. If not, that's it. Oh, she likes to do like say, that is because I understand boundaries. Because one day it is still these people that will say she only comes here to sell things. and she doesn't teach, or they say, oh, students are buying from her, she's dashing them mark. So I knew things that were going to come out from certain actions, and then I said, no, I won't do this. If you're not coming to the shop to buy when I'm there or I'm not there, go there and buy. I don't want to know whether you go or not. So we need to push this to the academic board. The NUC has to talk to lecturers, to VCs. You know, we have to also, now let me tell you what happens abroad. When students are graduating, they already know the best graduating students. They recommend them for different posts in the university. Why can't we not do the same in Nigeria? Why do we leave our first class, second class, 2-1? Everybody is going away. Why can't we retain them? So we have to start telling these people, the lecturers, let us have list of your first class candidates, your 2-1 candidates, let us know the good students that you have that can take up courses. Let them start. This can be done by, you know, employing them in the university as graduate student assistant. Let them go to the class of, maybe somebody in final year can take your test or assignment, go to the younger class, give them, monitor them, get it, sit down there, mark with you, show them how to grade. You start, you know, gradually putting them through these things. You know, a step, but I know it might be difficult for us, but when we start, we'll be able to do it. Because whether you like it or not, I know a lot of people would love to teach, but there is no encouragement. And because we're not getting our generation into teaching, there's a lot of process we are lacking. Just like I said, you have to do, you have to get your email and send me a message. People start learning how to use email. When I want to go do, when I'm setting exam question, I come to the class with the exam questions. I teach again, I do revision again, the same question. Then I submit it to the exam officer of the department. They pick like maybe 2 out of the 4 and then sit with other people. Now, the first time I did that, I still had a lot of people had 0/70. That is because they have not understood that a lecturer can actually come and do a revision of the same thing that they can ask in the exam hall. And this is because I schooled abroad and I have understood that exam is not the true test of that knowledge.
That's right.
I just want you to at least be able to answer one section in the whole of the lecture I've done in that semester. It is enough for me. So that when they open this topic and say, what can you remember in this course? You actually know one thing or 2. But a lot of them failed. And then some of them thought, this one is disturbing us. Which one is division again? But you actually need it. So some people had 69/70. Some had 62. Some had 0. So we only can do what we can do and let those that want to learn follow on. When I come to class to teach, I make it very interesting. My class is always quiet. So one day my HOD said he was thinking I'll have issue with 400 level. I said, me. Me, that's Amazwanoka. You know how you know how I also went to school. You know, so I said no. We interact. I pause. We talk. I ask them, okay, is there water in your hostel? Did you put bath this morning? You know, I bring in. So I know I went to school like them, so I know where you can have difficulties. So I chip in these things, and we start talking and we start laughing. And I said, okay, let's go on. But we know that after every class, I give like a test.
Area of concentration, a test.
Give a test. I tell them I'm giving 4 questions. You know, just take a paper, submit to the course rep. Most times I don't use it. I just want them to just pay attention. Other times I have people that sell in the class. If I have one, I say, okay, you have boss, you have this one. Okay, anybody can have it. I just give them. We go, we laugh, we talk about it. If you don't do your assignments, I will tell you must do it. I was sick. They broke my mother's waist. You must do the assignments. So I will always put an extra question in the question paper. I said, if you did not do my test, my assignment, take that question home and submit it to the course rep. But you must do it. I will not give you free mark. Because I understand that when you eventually do something, you must learn 1 or 2 things from it. So
and that can also be discipline as well.
So they started learning that with this lady, you must do her assignments. If you like it or not. If you like, go and born and come back. So we need our people, because we also can be patient with them. The older ones will not be patient with them the way I was. Before you know, they're already beating, they're already scoring 0, they're already 10 sheet of paper, you know, but me, I'm not going to talk. I say, when you finish, movie, no problem. Submit your assignments. So we understand things better, and if we encourage the university to, you know, start employing some of their students, gradually we'll be having enough of us, you know, in the department. We don't need to be, we know that the professors are there to guide us, you know, but we really need to teach these people in a way they will understand, you know, because the older ones will think, when I went to school, I was sitting under the tree. It is no longer like that.
That's right.
So we need to actually work in that aspect where the students can have people that are younger to teach them. And that is why we also have the internet.
True.
We need to teach them that whenever, like when I used to teach, I always tell them, go online, search this thing, summarize it. I just want you to always know that. Even on my page on Facebook, I tell them every time, I said, go on Google. You know the grace. Go on Google.
No, sometimes some knowledge are actually free.
Yes. You know, some people say, Google can also be wrong. Go and know the wrong one first. You don't know the right one, but you don't want, you know that one is wrong. You know, so I will tell you, I say, try. So when they are teaching you these things, also go online, check and see what is being said. You can actually be updating yourself. Sometimes you don't need that knowledge where you are. It is where you're going to.
You're going to.
Yes, exactly. So it's important to also understand that you can self-teach yourself in this generation and not just rely on what you're being fed or what you heard or something.
Okay, my last question is for the children as well.
Okay.
What if a child is in class, for instance, and the child does not have the right resources? 1, 2, the child does not have the best quality of life, in sense of the child might be hungry or the child might be ill. In that case, what can be done for that child to come out to still be better?
I think this have to do with the organization of the schools that we have.
Okay.
When you come abroad, you see that the university has a hospital.
Okay.
It's for a reason. They have well-being. They have people that you go to. I think well-being in my university is every Tuesday. When you go to well-being, you see people from different countries, Korea, Chinese. They just come. There's food. Just eat. Sit down. So people are there praying, you know. It's interaction. So we need to revisit what we need to assist students in schools. We used to have sick bay where we have nurses. If you're not feeling good, they'll say, oh, they'll call the nurse to come and take you. Nurse can ask you, what are you doing? What is wrong? If you've not eaten, they'll give you food. If you don't have something, you know, some schools used to have all these things then. So we need to revisit putting these things in place. Sometimes they have a situation where if it is Children's Day or if it is birthday or 1 or 2 celebrations, they always have pencils to give out. They also have, somebody said they even have counselors.
Counselors, true.
So they have pencils to give out, free textbooks, you know. They encourage children. If you don't have pencil, please go to your teacher after school. You know, so we need to revisit that era where we had all these things in the school. And we also, again, need to go back to childcare, because when we go back to the parents, they are still going to say, there is no money, there's no way we can do this. You know, I've had a situation where a friend said, oh, my child did not even go to school. There's no money. I said, it's better your child is in your house and happy than your child is in school and sick. Because if you're taking them to school now, there's no food. So will children be eating, others will be eating while they are watching. The trauma that you're building is something that child can hate you for tomorrow, and you will not know where it started from, because they cannot really express themselves.
Low self-esteem.
Yes, they might see that you don't want to do this thing, but in the real sense, you could not afford to. So I told someone that the trauma some of us have today is because our parents did a lot of things they did not even understand that they were they were going to put us to pass through so much trauma, because
That's
they
right.
knew nothing better than what they were doing. So I said, it's better your child is in your house. If you can get a lesson teacher to come every now and then, I think for me it's fine, because this girl is just 3 years. And you don't really have anything much you're doing to take you out of the house. You just want the name of, my child is going to school like every other person. So I believe if you can get a lesson teacher, monitor what she's doing, managing yourself, maybe next term you could have enough to buy school bag, buy this. Because if you beg for today, where will tomorrow come from? So your condition definitely needs to be stable before we can talk about you sending this child to school, paying school fees, sending them lunch with lunch every day, paying transport to take them there. So but if we have schools where they are being looked after mentally, medically, and otherwise, I think it will relieve the burden from a lot of parents. So again, we can have private schools or public schools where the government is definitely saying, we need this hospital in the school to work. We need this canteen to work. We can subsidize whatever is coming in here. It's done in the UK.
That's
if you come
right.
as a student to buy some things, it's 20% off. Because you're a student. They know why they do these things. They know that you cannot really afford it. Parents have a lot of burden already. So we need to look into them, subsidize things that are coming into the canteen for them to eat. You see that a lot of parents prefer to say, okay, take 100 naira and go to school, buy this and eat. So that is going to help the children. So the government cannot act as if they don't know that we need education. We are exporting teachers, we're exporting lecturers, we're exporting doctors, we're exporting nurses, all because of the educational system we had. We need to bring it back. When I went to school, it was not I think my school fees when I was in secondary school was not up to 500 naira or so. I don't know. But because also my parents believed when a child is growing, they will learn more from the home. So they didn't believe in Living Word Academy, this one academy. Go to the one that is by the house. Don't stress anybody, So we need to bring back that time where parents could just say, go to school with 5 naira. And they know that things are subsidized. We had bookshops where books were cheaper, pencils were cheaper. Some of the times you come there, that's your eraser. So we need to bring back those things. They really helped some of us.
True.
If not for the way that we had things then, I'm sure a lot of people in my generation would have been able to afford schools.
True.
Yeah, so I think we can look into that. It should be prioritized.
Even when we have free schools, it needs to be well equipped.
Yes, it needs to be equipped. It needs to, because it needs to be like it has to be somebody's job to come to this school every day and make sure that this water is running. That is what you're paid to do. So we need people that are how would I say it? People that have the passion to see that education is going well. Education gets to the standard it should be. It's not going to be easy. You're going to keep fighting, but you just have to keep fighting.
This conversation is a lot.
You have to keep fighting. I know. I've been there where I have to try to make things work. There was nothing I did not see. You will not even have friends.
That's right.
There are a lot of people saying it will not work because I didn't have it good. They told me, say, when I was like this, so I didn't have it good. What do you mean by that? They will have people like that. But if we have more people that are saying it has to be good, then we have to be good. Yes, then we'll win. We have to do a lot of these things because the more we are acting like nothing is going on.
Nothing is going on.
We are like nothing is going on, but we know that we are nowhere when it comes to this. Education is really suffering.
Someone really just mentioned your faith's name.
Exactly. I love the fact that he did because a lot of parents cannot afford this public school, and they really want these children to learn. True. So if the public schools are teachers are well equipped, there's classroom. What are you looking for in private schools? Because teachers in public school can teach in private schools.
Exactly. Over here in the UK, almost all child they go to public schools.
Exactly. They are teaching the same. They're using the same curriculum. So what's the difference? The difference might be this school has AC. They have better painting. They have everything that you need in the public school. In the private school is in the public school. A lot of all these doctors you see today, they all pass through public schools, and people were going to school at subsidized rates. Some people were paying 100 naira, 150, 120 school fees. When you come, you bring your broom, your tissue, and your soap. They put in the toilets. If any child messes up their uniform, they go and shower, they bath them. You know, these things were there. I can still
and it will make the children believe in education. It will make them want to come to school. It will make them look forward.
We have PE days where you come, you run, you play, you exercise yourself. All these things helped a lot of us. You know, but now it's no longer like that. I don't know what's going on. You know, if it's not private school, everyone is crying. My children, I said, when I was growing up, I did not see parents cry about school fees the way I see it now. Like, everyone is crying school fees. I didn't see it. It was not too good, but at least it was there. It was good. Right. It was there. You know, so the government has a lot to do. You know, when you want to push campaigns like this, you actually need somebody who is up there that has the passion.
That's right.
Because they can do it.
That's right.
They can,
and it can be done, and it will be done. That is what we stand for, and it will not rest until it's done.
They can fund it. You know, so we have to keep saying it and saying it and saying it. One day we'll find somebody who is there that have that same passion, that want to see it come true. You know, so I believe that we just have to keep doing. If all of us are silent, over time we'll lose our voice, and then if you look at it, this is an impossibility that cannot happen.
And like what you said earlier, you said that all of us are quiet, that nothing is going on. And the truth of the matter is that these children that don't have access to all of these things are eventually going to become parents.
Yes.
So it means that they are passing it on to their children.
That is what I'm saying.
And it means that it's generational. And it means that the circle would not be broken.
The circle will continue.
It will continue.
And then you're taking your own child to private school because you can afford it. They will come and meet the ones that did not go to private school. So you will have a share of whatever that these children lack or did not learn. Because when your kids are going through life crisis from people they have met who who did not have the opportunity to have the same background growing up, you too as the parents, you will not rest. So that is what Nigeria now is facing.
And education should be a fundamental human right.
It's not
and not a privilege.
It's not negotiable.
It's not.
If you have issues with your wife or your husband, it doesn't concern the child. That child must go to school.
Yes.
Two of you can have your wahala.
Yes.
That child must be in school. It is their right. Whether the parents are working or not. It's their right. They have to go to school. When you finish your college and say you don't want to go to school anymore, then
it's your choice.
It's your choice.
Is your choice.
When and said, I will not continue, they know that you have finished at least secondary school. And anybody that finished secondary school has been shaped for the future.
Exactly.
Anybody that is above 18, nothing again you won't train for that person. Nothing you can train out of the person. So that is why they make sure that everything that they need to know, they train them before they leave college. So if you now want to go to university, it's like you want to go and specialize. That's where if they see some of it, they say, why are you going to school again? What are you doing with it? Because they believe they have learned all they need or they needed when they were in college. And that is why we need to make sure that every child in Nigeria or in every part of Africa gets to that point where they can say, I have my primary 6 certificates. That is the basis. I mean, that's the roots that is going to bear. The trees can come seasonally, but you need that tree to stand.
That's right.
So that's what we are
foundation.
The foundation. Let's get this foundation. We can decorate the branches later. It can grow seasonally. We can do other things, but that foundation needs to come up. We need to work on it and make sure that it's very sturdy to carry whatever comes. So that is it.
Let me use your word. Catch them young.
Catch them young.
Dr. Boo, you literally clarified everything. Please, if you agree with me, you can put on the comment section and say you agree. And they are saying that they want you to come back.
Of course,
that we should bring you back.
We'll have more discussions about different things, different areas of study, because I used to consult people for like the academics. You know, when you want to talk about diversifying, we talk about certain areas of life, like an academic advisor, especially those that are trying to travel, you know. So when I talk with them, they're like, I wish I spoke to you since. I want to have so we have to like talk. People need to understand their temperaments, you know, about things that they need to do in life. Some people could be billionaires in some field and they have just joined the crowd to stand in one area because, oh, nothing is paying. You just go and stand. But there's an area where you can actually be better and earn more that you have neglected. And that is actually where you could have done better. You know, but if you don't talk with people that know these things, that would ask you, you know, some certain questions. Interact with you. So when people come and say, just tell me what I can do, tell me. I said, I cannot tell you till I have a discussion with you. You know, but our people are used to just, we like to dodge, we like to cut corners. We don't like to sit down and actually unpack ourselves, you know, and call it a thing, you know, but only few people have been able to unlock that. So, but it's okay. With time, we'll talk about every other thing, how to, you know, choose the pathways or improve ourselves academically, because I know people that they are scholars, but they have online jobs, you know, they can do one or two things, they cannot do extra degrees. Some people can do extra degrees and be better, but they are just relaxing because they feel that nobody has talked about that area. Let me just rest. They only start rushing when there is a crowd.
And there is no knowledge that is a waste.
There's no knowledge. When I was doing my medical microbiology in Nigeria, I know, you know, so when I got the scholarship to go and do biomedical science, people say, don't do the biomedical science already. I said, me, I will do it. when I'm not being beaten to pay school fees, you say I should not do it. Something that is free.
Something that is free.
Yeah, even if they like, they should bring 10 of it. I was talking to someone recently. The person, when you finish this, will you go to school again? I said, well, the only school I want to go to now, maybe if I want to be a medical doctor, I feel it should be the easiest thing I would do. Like if I can finish up a PhD with how hard I found this PhD, I think. And the person said, me, I pity you. I said,
I'm so proud of you.
No knowledge is a waste, and if it is coming on a platter of gold, I'm going for it.
That's right.
I'm going for it. So a lot of people have ignored opportunities because they feel they won't need it, or they feel, oh, am I not too young, or am I not too old, or am I not too ambitious, or am I not going to be perceived as this? So the cultural environment that we have is also a limiting factor to many people. When I got this PhD, so many people said a lot of things. Go and rest. You have tried. You're a woman. If you overdo, you won't see your husband. If you
belief.
You know, the cultural belief, they just find a way to
stereotype women.
They stereotype women.
Or undermine women.
I asked somebody, if the women are not doing it, will all the men be able to do all of them? They won't be able to do all of them. We also need people to take the bold step. So we have seen families that have told their children, their daughters, don't go, or their sons, no, you're the only son, you should not do this course. Or so we have to really talk to people, and our generation need to do better in raising children and making decisions. If someone tells me, I'll say the result of the parenting our parents' generation did is what we are suffering now.
That's
so
right.
If we have to change it, we have to change our style. We have to be honest about it and change how we're going to parent. If not, it's not going to end.
It's going to be a circle.
Exactly. So that's it.
Thank you so much. If you leave me, I'm going to ask you more questions.
Somebody was thinking about how people can travel faster. They talked about building an aeroplane. So we cannot just push it to the back seat like it doesn't matter. And whatever is worth doing is worth doing well.
Doing well.
So if we want a situation where our generations are going to still come up, interact with the global community, go out there to make names and make us proud, we need to put that energy to making sure that our educational system is functional and healthy. So this comes to the end of my talk.
I don't have anything else to say. Thank you so much.
Yes, and please
thank you. Does anyone have anything to say before I release her? Because she's now with Care for Africa's Property. Does anyone have anything to say? Yes, too old to go to school is a thing in Nigeria. Even discouraging people spending from studying for longer years in the university is a thing in Nigeria too.
Yes, some people do that. So what I said to someone last year, she wanted to come to the UK to go to school. And I think everybody was telling her the same thing. And then I said to her, I've asked you to go and do nursing because I've seen your background. You're good with drugs and you've owned the pharmacy for the longest. If you want to go abroad, go and do nursing. Have a certificate where you can be allowed to practice what you know. That will make you happy. Hey, am I not too old? By the time I finish, I said, by the time you finish, even if you're going to be 40, by the time you finish, whether or not you do nursing, you are going to be 40.
That's right.
Whether or not you do this school, you're going to be 50, you're going to get old. So why not do the school and know that you have given yourself a good retirement plan? And I said to her, for me, I feel it should be a burden in your mind to do this school because you are actually getting old. The young people have a lot of time to play around. They can decide not to do. When you come here, you see somebody that tell you, oh, I left uni 10 years ago, college 10 years ago, and they just want to come to school now. So they have time to play around. You should make it a priority to do it because you're actually getting old. So when people try to push you around or stereotype things, let them understand that you too, you understand that you are this age, but this is the best time for you to do it. Tell them that you think this is the best time for you to do it. There were courses that people never understood why they were younger, that they would do better studying them as an adult. Because experiences will also shaping you to understand what is going on in those courses. So why will you tell somebody they are getting old? Because of age, when people are 60 and getting PhDs, getting master's degrees. So some people have finished, some people are learning. I know one guy that used to make my clothes. I told him that I said, go and get jam form, go to school. He started laughing. I said, why are you laughing? He said, ma, no. I said, why no? He said, wow, school, for what age? I said, that is why you need it.
I think because of the stigmatization.
Yes, I said, now you have a job, you have a career, you have a skill that is making money. I mean, guy is making one dress for 65, 70, 80,000. I said, now you have a stable income. You can put people here and monitor it. You have the time now to go to school. Make sure you do. I said this thing like 6 years ago. He remembered this recently. When Jackpot started, say, hey, when you buy jam form, I said, okay. Now,
and the funniest part is, if he had gone to school, he would learn, come back, and make his business better.
Exactly. And when people are traveling now, he could have just applied for global talent visa.
Exactly.
And get permit. Come and sit down here, sew your clothes, make your money. So at every point in time, education will come in.
Yeah.
You just have to accept it.
Education is a transformative power.
Yeah. And stereotyping should not be something that people should take to heart. Yeah. And that's where self-confidence comes in. Anybody who tells you you shouldn't do this because of your age, oh yes, growing old is the price you pay for
a blessing.
Yeah, it's the price you pay for not dying young. So people died young. What would you have said? So tell them it's a blessing to grow old, and I'm going to make maximum use of my old age. So let me do what I need to do now. The only person that have got no opportunity is a dead person. Aside that, you can do anything at any time.
At any time. Okay. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate it a lot. We've come to the end of today's session, and I hope we all learned one or two. So it's not just for our children, it's for everybody. So we need to collectively work together to make sure that our educational system is working, and not just working, is working well. We need to keep spreading the mindset. We need to keep changing the narrative. We need to keep talking, and we cannot get tired.
Exactly.
We can't get tired because if we don't talk, there's nobody that is going to talk about it.
Exactly.
So we are literally the people. We have the power to change the world. We have the power to change whatever that we feel like is not working well, you know. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I hope to do this soon with you again. I'll be going now, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.